Our very own Bobby Santoro is here to talk about the current baseball season and the upcoming football season. Bobby, a lot to get to. How are you, my friend?
I'm doing well, Mike. Thanks for having me. Yeah, well, a lot to get to. It's that time of year again now. Football's ramping up and end of the baseball season.
It's just amazing how fast the summer is flying by through it all. So, Bobby, we've heard how the Yankees played sloppy baseball for the majority of the summer, but the reality is they have 70 wins. It's tied for best in the majors with the Orioles. And now they have a soft schedule to end the month of August. So, can they retake control of the American League East?
They absolutely can. The one thing they really need to do is handle their business because, like you said, soft schedule. They got a 3 game series with the White Sox coming up right now. Then they go, I believe, from Chicago to Detroit after coming home to face Cleveland, which will be a tough one. But after Cleveland, you got Colorado, and then you got the Nationals. So they really need to take care of business. These are all teams, including Cleveland, that they are better than. And in that 14 game stretch, you really got to go. It might be a lofty expectation, but it'd be amazing to go 10-2. But again, with this Yankee team, we've seen them get swept by the Reds, so we don't know exactly what they can, how this will unfold. But yeah, I mean, over the weekend, I have an article out for the Baseball Writers Association that I kind of went into the fact that with Garrett Cole, it was interesting to see Cole only go 90 pitches. They wound up losing that game. I know you want to protect him, but then yesterday they have Clay Holmes go 40 pitches. So it's interesting to see, but I think they can easily, they're hitting now. Ever since Jazz Chisholm came, they've been great. So they can go on this run, and they just can't be too complacent. They have to, keep your foot on the gas pedal and take control.
And the Mets finished their road trip against Seattle, who has one of the best pitching staffs in baseball, if not the best. I didn't have a good feeling as they went into that series. They ended up getting swept. They can't seem to get more than 7 games above 500. Now they're only 4 games above 500. So what went wrong, and will they be able to turn things around against the A's at Citi Field?
Well, there's multiple things. I mean, you look at a West Coast trip, and it's always tough for an East Coast team to go out there and and perform. I know, you look back historically, especially with the Yankees and the Mets, going out west has never been fun for them. I mean, they've had good years, but you're out there and it's tough, especially the Mets who haven't played in Seattle for I know playing in Seattle is going to be tough too. And Seattle's that good pitching staff. What really hurt them was obviously, they scored 1 run in all 3 games. They were 0 for 16 with runners in scoring position. So again, Seattle's pitching is very good, but if you're going to make the playoffs, and I know that's a win for the Mets this year is making the playoffs because no one expected that. But if you're going to make the playoffs and you want to compete in the playoffs, you're going to have to go up against good pitching. So it might be a little bit of a gut check for them. But yeah, like you said, they're playing Oakland, which is another soft landing spot. Like the Yankees, they should take care of business against them, especially at Citi Field. So I could see them bouncing back. It's just, yeah, it's going to be a dogfight till the end. I mean, the Braves don't seem to want to win a game. I know they lost. They were up 8 maybe yesterday or 7 runs yesterday and blew that game. So it's right there for them. As Aaron Boone says, even though he's not a Met, as Aaron Boone would say, it's all right in front of them. So we'll see.
We'll see indeed. So let's move over to football. Giants rookie Malik Neighbors injured his ankle during a recent practice, something Giants fans obviously don't want to hear. How long is he out for, and how does this affect the team?
But looking today, it looks like he's day to day. Now, ankle injuries are always, they're always tough. I know, having some in the past myself, you get an ankle injury, you can play on it throughout the rest of the day, and then it's, especially a sprain or something like that, it's killing you the next day. It's good that it's not something like a hammy or anything like that, but I would say I wouldn't, you may not see him for the rest of the preseason, but I don't think it affects his status for the beginning of the season. The Giants obviously need him, to be Malik Neighbors. They need him to be, even though he's a rookie, you've seen what he can do in college. They need him if they want someone like, Daniel Jones to have a good year, especially now with no Saquon. You're going to want to have him healthy. So that's why I think they'll sit him for the rest of the preseason. But he should be good to go for opening day. It shouldn't be that much of a worry. I know Brian Dable said it wasn't that big of a worry for him either. So he should be good to go, and they should have him.
Looking forward to it. So we haven't really talked about high school sports of late because we're in the middle of summer, but let's talk high school football and preview a couple of the divisions in the Super Football Conference. We'll start with the American Blue Division. What teams look good going into this year from that division?
So American Blue. Now, first off, the Super Football Conference I didn't realize they have 19 divisions. So that's truly,
I was
living
looking
up to
at
the
it
name.
today. It's a lot.
It is, yeah. It's done. So, but yeah, and looking at that American Blue, it's kind of revamped a little bit now. You have Hackettstown, there's High Point, Tenny, other schools along those lines. Lenape Valley, I know too. But you look at Hackettstown now this year is a team that kind of struggled last year, but they were a young team, couldn't score. They're a team that I can look to see bounce back this year. And you look at schools along, like High Point, who have had, they have a new coach coming in this year. They have a lot of potential, a lot of talent. So it's going to be interesting to see. Now, obviously, with high school, you look at last year, you want to see who's coming back, and who graduated the most seniors. So for them, for that, I do think Hackettstown could be kind of a little bit of a juggernaut. But Newton obviously is the team to beat. They're the defending champions. They didn't lose too much, so I would say a sleeper would be Hackettstown, but look for Newton to be the one to kind of take control of this year.
And you've got a bunch of Morris County schools in the Liberty White division. How is that division shaping up? I know Morris County historically has always had some great athletics, so how is that division shaping up?
Yeah, you look at that division, and last year that might have been one of the best divisions in the whole state. With Mount Olive and Roxbury in there. It was we saw some of the best games in that division last year. Again, between Mount Olive and Roxbury, Roxbury went into Mount Olive, was able to stop the Marauders from getting a game-winning drive to score on a turnover, but then later that in the state playoffs, Mount Olive went into Roxbury and actually upset them and scored on a game-winning drive to defeat them and crush Roxbury's hopes for the season. The issue is I still think Mount Olive is the team to beat there. You look at Roxbury lost a lot of their seniors that had that great year. So they have some young players, a lot of unknowns there. Looking at Morris Knowles, Bill Regan, who was the head coach there for 49 years, is now gone. They have Brian Callahan, who came in from Booton. So it should be interesting, as Knowles normally ran the veer. Like Herman Boone used to say, Bill Regan would say when I was there, especially what Herman Boone would say, like the veer works like Novocaine, give it time, it always works. But it's kind of past its time. So we'll see if Brian Gallagher can go to a more kind of passing spread offense with them. Then you got Randolph, as well as West Morris, who West Morris was one of the teams that had a winning record. They were 7-4, but they came in second to last in the division because 7-4, 7-4, because 4 of their losses were against division opponents. So they have a lot of young people, a lot of young kids coming back as well. They could be a team to kind of sneak up because not many people graduated from there either. They just got to take care of business in the division and on the road. I don't believe they had a win on the road last year. They might have had one, but yeah. So that's going to be one of the tough divisions. Definitely a fun one to do, and it'll be fun. We'll preview a few of these in the next couple of weeks and see what teams are going to stand out. Obviously, the private schools are going to be a whole different animal, but they are in the Super Football Conference as well. But yeah, in this one, look for Mount Olive to repeat and hopefully get to a state title game. They were crushed again by they weren't crushed. They had a crushing loss to Ramapo last season, but they have their starting quarterback Jake Asbury and their starting running back Tyler Cumming coming back, who both had lights out years, and there's no reason to think they won't improve.
Looking forward to the high school football season. Bobby Santoro, thanks as always for coming on, and enjoy the week, my friend.
Thank you, Mike. Thanks for having me again.
Coming up, we check in with members of our On New Jersey team who were scattered around North Jersey to grab stories about Anthony Volpe, the Giants, and even Monster Jam. Stay with us.